mine. Topic 1 and 2 is mine.
Oh. Then what is mine? Because that is what I have got.
Sriman, Pratibha Madam's topics, which one?
Hello.
Fourth one, madam, bystanders.
Fourth topic is yours, Madam, bystanders.
Bystander. Okay. Okay.
Which school is this, Sriman?
DPS from Warangal, madam.
Okay. Good morning to all the teachers and students of the school at Warangal who have logged in today to listen to us as a part of Foxy UNICEF initiative to sensitize the students of 9th class to 12th class and tell them that they have to say no to violence against women and say it courageously together as part of the Dheera program, which has been a vision of our Foxy president, Dr. Shantakumari, who has been working hard on this aspect since the last 6 years and brought it to this level. First, before we start our sessions, let us all hear to Dr. Shantakumari speaking. Sriman, please play the video.
Just a minute, ma'am.
Dear friends, Foxians, and the women of my country, I am Dr. Shanta Kumari, President of the Federation of Obstetrics and Gynecological Societies of India. As a doctor and a woman myself, I have observed very closely how prevalent violence against women is across the strata of our society and the enormous impact it has on the health of our women. My theme for the year as the President Foxy is Foxy for all always and Dheera, stop violence against women.
Dr. Shantakumari, who has relentlessly campaigned for the issues of girl child. I was happy to be the ambassador of Foxy Figure Ox in 2013, and I hope that me being an ambassador has motivated a lot of girls and many families.
Violence against women is a serious human rights violation, leading to injury and sometimes even death. Unfortunately, 1 in 3 women experience some sort of physical and sexual violence during their lifetime. Violence in pregnancy is also widely prevalent, leading to unwanted pregnancies, unsafe abortions, neglected pregnancies with no antenatal care, all these contributing to maternal morbidity and near miss. As obstetricians and gynecologists, we have a great opportunity to assess and support women who experience violence because of the unique opportunity where we get to see them during the pregnancy, during the family planning visits, during their annual checkups, and multiple other times when they come to us. I strongly believe that by eliminating the violence against women, we are not only reaching the SDG goals, but also creates a just and equal society for our women. Until we make men and boys active partners, we can never end the violence against women. In an endeavor to sensitize our own fraternity, my initiative of Dheera was started to eliminate violence against women.
I completely support her vision and mission as President Foxy and also especially support her campaign, Dheera, Stop Violence Against Women.
It was in 2016 at the launch of Dheera. We brought together the police, the obstetrician gynecologists, the National Commission for Women, the women and men on one single platform to wear orange and say no to violence against women. We organized the public forum and cyclothon to launch Dheera. In 2017 at the Foxy Figo Congress, we partnered with men and organized the Bikeathon and the Flash Mob. The high point of Dheera was at the International Figo Congress at Rio, Brazil in 2018. The declaration on no to violence against women was signed with Figo and WHO. It was here global societies pledged their support to end this violence against women. The Dheera campaign and march at the World Congress of Figo in Rio in 2018 got wide international publicity. No change is possible unless the young minds adopt it and make it a part of their life. Young minds are open and creative. They accept change. Foxy has always worked with adolescents for their health and well-being. Dheera this year adds a new page. I'm happy to share with you all that we are launching the Dheera online school certification course across the length and breadth of our country in all the schools. Foxy for all always. Dheera, stop violence against women.
మనమందరం ఇప్పుడు డాక్టర్ శాంతకుమారి మాట్లాడింది విన్నాం కదా. ఆవిడ 6 ఏళ్ల నుంచి కష్టపడి WHO, యూనిసెఫ్ తో టైఅప్ అయ్యి మీకు అందరికీ ఈ ప్రోగ్రాం ద్వారా మహిళలపై జరిగే హింస గురించి మనం ఏం చేయాలి అనేది చెప్పడానికి మమ్మల్ని అందరినీ ట్రైన్ చేసి మీ దగ్గరికి పంపించారు. నేను డాక్టర్ శైలజ, విజయవాడ సొసైటీ సెక్రటరీ మాట్లాడుతున్నాను. ఈరోజు నేను ముందు మహిళలపై హింస అంటే ఏంటి, అది ఎన్ని రకాలుగా జరుగుతుంది అనేది మీకు చెప్తాను. Pratibha madam, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. ముందు మహిళలపై హింస అంటే ఏంటి, ఇందులో ధీరా పాత్ర ఏంటి? ఈ ధీరా అనేది ఫాక్సీ అంటే భారతదేశం మొత్తం మీద ఉన్న లేడీ డాక్టర్స్ అందరూ కలిసి ఏర్పరచుకున్న ఒక సొసైటీకి ఫస్ట్ టైం తెలుగు ప్రెసిడెంట్ డాక్టర్ శాంతకుమారి గారు తీసుకొచ్చారు. ఇందులో మేము ధీరా అంటే ఏంటి, వా అంటే ఏంటి, అది ఎన్ని రకాలుగా ఉండొచ్చు, దానికి వ్యతిరేకంగా మన పాత్ర ఏంటి, పీర్ ప్రెషర్ అంటే ఏంటి, ఇవన్నీ వివరంగా ఒక్కొక్కటి మీకు చెప్తాం. మీరందరూ ఈ రోజు ఇది అటెండ్ అవడానికి ముందు రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ ఫ్రీ టెస్ట్ చేశారు. ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ అంతా అయిపోయిన తర్వాత పోస్ట్ టెస్ట్ సమాధానాలు ఇచ్చి మీకు ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ గురించి ఏమనిపించింది అనే ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ సబ్మిట్ చేసిన తర్వాతే మీకు అందరికి యూనిసెఫ్ ఫాక్సీ దగ్గర నుంచి సర్టిఫికేట్ అందుతుంది. అసలు ధీరా అంటే అర్థం ఏంటి? ధీరా అంటే కలిసి కట్టుగా మనం ధైర్యంగా ఉండాలి. ధీరా అంటే ధైర్యం. మన అందరం ఏకమై కలిసి కట్టుగా ధైర్యంగా ఉండాలి అనేది మా అర్థం. మేము ప్రపంచంలో మగవాళ్ళందరూ ఆడవాళ్ళకి వ్యతిరేకంగా హింస చేస్తున్నారు అని అనట్లేదు, కానీ ప్రతి స్త్రీ తన జీవితంలో ఏదో ఒక సందర్భంలో మగవాళ్ళ వల్ల హింసకి గురయ్యే ఉంటుంది. ఇది ప్రపంచం మొత్తం మీద ఉంది. ఇది ఫోర్ట్ ఆల్కబ్రో చెప్పారు. మహిళలపై హింస ఇప్పుడు మీరు సివిక్స్ బుక్ లో చదువుకుని ఉంటారు. మనకు కొన్ని హక్కులు ఉంటాయి, కొన్ని బాధ్యతలు ఉంటాయి. అందరికీ మగవాళ్ళైనా ఆడవాళ్ళైనా భయం లేకుండా బ్రతకడానికి ఒక హక్కు ఉంది. ఈ మహిళలపై జరిగే హింస అనేది ప్రపంచం మొత్తం మీద ఈ మానవ హక్కుల ఉల్లంఘన. దీర్ఘకాలంలో కానీ స్వల్పకాలంలో కానీ ఈ హింస వల్ల చాలా పరిణామాలు ఉంటాయి. అవి శారీరకం కావచ్చు, ఆర్థికం కావచ్చు, మానసికం కావచ్చు. వీటి వల్ల ఏం జరుగుతుంది? ఒక మహిళ సమాజం కోసం తను ఏదైతే పాత్ర పోషించగలదో, తన బాధ్యత ఏది పూర్తి చేయగలదో అది పూర్తిగా మగవాళ్ళతో సమానంగా చేయలేకపోతుంది హింస వల్ల. దీనివల్ల సమాజం మీద చాలా పెద్ద రేంజ్ లో ఎఫెక్ట్ పడుతుంది. ఈ 2 సంవత్సరాల నుంచి మనం కోవిడ్ అనే మహమ్మారి బారిన పడ్డాము. ఆ టైంలో మనందరికి లాక్డౌన్ పరిచయం, మనందరి కదలికల్ని తగ్గించారు, ఒంటరిగా ఉండాల్సి వచ్చింది, చాలా స్ట్రెస్ ఫేస్ చేశాము, ఆర్థికంగా అనిశ్చితితో వచ్చేసింది. మన పరిస్థితి ఏంటో మనకే అర్థం కాలేదు. వీటన్నిటి వల్ల గృహ హింస చాలా పెరిగిపోయింది. మీరు ఎక్కడైనా స్కూల్లో కానీ, ఇంట్లో కానీ, బయట రోడ్డు మీద కానీ ఆడవాళ్ళని కొట్టడం, బెదిరించడం, మాటలతో బాధ పెట్టడం చూసుంటారు. ఇది కరెక్ట్ అని మీకు అనిపిస్తుందా? అసలు ఇలాంటి ప్రవర్తనని ఏమంటారు? దీన్ని వర్ణించడానికి ఏదైనా పర్టికులర్ వర్డ్ ఉందా? తెలుసుకుందాం. దీన్నే వైలెన్స్ అగేన్స్ట్ ఉమెన్ అంటే మహిళలపై హింస అంటారు. అసలు మన అందరం సిగ్గుపడాల్సిన విషయం. దీనికి అసలు ఏ హద్దులు లేవు. ప్రపంచం మొత్తం ఉంది. సాంస్కృతికంగా కానీ, డబ్బుల పరంగా కానీ, డబ్బులు ఉన్న వాళ్ళ ఇళ్లలోనూ జరుగుతాంది, పేదవాళ్ళ ఇళ్లలోనూ జరుగుతాంది, ప్రతి దేశంలో జరుగుతాంది. అసలు ప్రపంచంలో ఏ దేశంలో కూడా ఇది జరగట్లేదు అని గర్వంగా చెప్పలేకపోతున్నాను. ఈ మహిళలపై హింస జరిగినంత కాలం నిజమైన అభివృద్ధి ఉండదు. మనకు సమానత రాదు, శాంతి రాదు, అభివృద్ధి ఉండదు. ఈ బొమ్మ చూడండి. ముందు నుంచి చూస్తే ఈ బొమ్మలో ఏమనిపిస్తుందంటే ఒక అమ్మాయి అబ్బాయి కలిసి ఆనందంగా డాన్స్ చేస్తున్నారు అని అనిపిస్తుంది. కానీ వెనక చూస్తే అబ్బాయి అమ్మాయిని భయపెడుతున్నారు. అది శారీరకంగా భయపెట్టవచ్చు, మానసికంగా భయపెట్టవచ్చు, లైంగికంగా వేధించవచ్చు. అసలు ఈ మహిళలపై జరుగుతున్న హింసకి వేళ్ళు ఎక్కడుంది? చాలా కారణాల వల్ల ఈ మహిళలపై హింస అనేది ప్రబలిపోయింది మన సమాజంలో. దానికి కారణాలు పితృస్వామ్య సమాజం కావచ్చు, లింగ వివక్ష కావచ్చు, లింగం ఆధారితంగా పక్షపాతం కావచ్చు, విషపురుషత్వం కావచ్చు. ఇవంటే ఏంటి? ఒకటి సమాజంలో ఇక్కడ చూడండి, మగవాళ్ళకి ఎంత బెనిఫిట్ ఇచ్చారు, ఆడవాళ్ళని ఎంత కిందకి తోసేస్తున్నారు. మగవాళ్ళు అంటేనే ప్రిఫరెన్స్ ఉంటుంది, ఆడపిల్ల అంటే బరువులాగా భావిస్తారు. ఎంతవరకు అంటే అమ్మ కడుపులో ఉండగానే ఆడ శిశువు అని తెలిస్తే భ్రూణ హత్యలు చేస్తున్నారు, పొట్టలోనే చంపేస్తున్నారు. లేదు పుట్టగానే ఆడపిల్ల అని తెలిస్తే శిశు హత్యలు జరుగుతున్నాయి. ఇట్లా ఆడవాళ్ళ ఆరోగ్యం విషయం పట్ల చాలా నిర్లక్ష్యం ఉంది. పితృస్వామ్య సమాజం అంటే ఏంటి? అంటే మన సమాజంలో, కుటుంబంలో, గవర్నమెంట్ లో మగవాళ్ళకి ఎక్కువ అధికారం ఇచ్చారు. ప్రతి నిర్ణయం తీసుకునే అధికారం మగవాళ్ళకి ఇచ్చారు. మీరు చూసుంటారు ఇళ్లలో మనం ఎంత డబ్బు ఖర్చు పెట్టాలి, దేనికి ఖర్చు పెట్టాలి, పిల్లలు ఏం చదవాలి, ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళాలి, ఎప్పుడు వెళ్ళాలి, చాలా వరకు నిర్ణయాలు మీ నాన్నగారు కానీ మీ అన్నయ్యలు కానీ తీసుకుంటారు. ఆడవాళ్ళకి చాలా కుటుంబాల్లో నిర్ణయాధికారం ఇవ్వట్లేదు. తర్వాత లింగం ఆధారంగా అమ్మాయి ఇలాగే ఉండాలి, ఆ అమ్మాయి భావోద్వేగాలు ఎక్కువ బయట పెడుతుంది, ఆ అమ్మాయి అన్ని భరించాలి, సానుభూతి కనపరచాలి, ఒకళ్ళ మీద ఆధారపడాలి అనేది చాలా ఏళ్ల నుంచి సమాజంలో పాతుకుపోయి ఉన్న ఆలోచనలు. అబ్బాయి ఏమో పోటీతత్వం కలిగి ఉండాలి, తార్కికంగా ఆలోచించాలి, దూకుడు మీద ఉంటారు, తర్వాత స్వతంత్రంగా బతుకుతారు అనే ఆలోచనలో మనం ఉన్నాం. ఇది తప్పు. మగవాళ్ళు కూడా భావోద్వేగాలు వ్యక్తపరచవచ్చు, వాళ్ళు కూడా ఒకళ్ళ మీద ఆధారపడవచ్చు. మగవాళ్ళు బాధను వ్యక్తపరచడం తప్పు కాదు. ఆడపిల్లలు కూడా పోటీతత్వం కలిగి ఉండొచ్చు, పోటీ పడి సమాజంలో ముందుకెళ్ళొచ్చు, స్వతంత్రంగా బ్రతకొచ్చు. ఇది తప్పేం కాదు.
Madam, Shriman here. Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. They were asking you to take a section in English, madam.
వినపట్లేదు శ్రీమాన్ గారు.
Madam, they were asking you to take a section in English, madam.
One second.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you were saying something, Sriman?
Madam, they were asking us to take a section in English, madam. Most of the students doesn't know Telugu.
I can't hear you, Sriman. I don't know. Every day I can hear you well. 1 second. చెప్పండి. Yeah, you people wanted me to speak in English. Fine. What is sexism? Based on gender, there have been a lot of prejudices and stereotyping. Like I said, girls should be like this, boys should be like this. And discrimination typically against women based on her sex or gender. And toxic masculinity, like men thinking, I'm very strong, I don't cry, I can control everything, I'm the boss here, I'm the savior here. But you should understand that it is okay for men to reach out for help. Their mental health is as important as physical health, and they stay mentally healthy if they express their emotions. Their mental health also matters. They need not suppress all their emotions and think that we cannot express our emotions simply because we are males. Why we women gynecologists or doctors for women want to talk about violence against women is we are the points of first contact when the family comes to us for any health issues. Like if a woman gets delivered with us, it is common for her to bring back her child for any health issue and come back with her entire family for any health issue. That's where we recognize change in lifestyle when violence against women is there in the family, and most of the health problems of women are rooted in this violence. It can result in serious health problems when a woman is pregnant. Why Dheera? This is the campaign founded by Foxy President, as I told you before, Dr. Shanta Kumari, to stop violence against women. This is an all India initiative. We are trying to sensitize and orient 5 lakh plus boys and girls from 9th to 12th grade and 15,000 plus teachers. It's 36,000 plus lady doctors coming together to do this. You should teach your son to respect women. Always remember that he's watching you, your behavior. He's watching his mother, whether she is able to express her wishes and command respect. At the same time, he's watching his father, whether he's respecting his mother or not. He will listen to what we express through our actions. Dheera is staying courageous together to say no to violence against women. So let us all tweet together, hashtag Dheera together, and our target is 1 lakh tweets. So please add your courageous voice, build this voice, and say no to violence against women. This is a reminder again for your post-test and feedback. Shall I go ahead with the second session, Sriman?
Yes, madam. Yes.
Okay, fine. Just now I told you what exactly is what. Now I am going to elaborate what are the different types of violence against women. Can be physical violence, psychological violence, or a combination of both, and there are a lot of varieties of this. Let us all come to know all of them one by one. This is a reminder again for your post-test and feedback after the session is completed, after which you will be issued a certificate by UNICEF and Foxy. Coming to physical violence, you recognize this girl. This is Lakshmi Agarwal, who at the age of 15 years in 2005 was approached by a 32-year-old male who was interested in her romantically. Simply because she refused, he attacked her with acid and she had to undergo multiple surgeries to come back to her normal life, after which she came out and spoke about these acid attacks. Sometimes this is used as a form of blackmail. And the movie Chapak was made based on this incident. This is one kind of physical violence. What can you do if an attack is threatened or attempted? You must immediately report some adult you trust. Can be your teacher, your parents, your sister, brother, or the police. Just make sure that you stay away from the person who is threatening, and never travel alone when there is a threat like this. Always travel in groups. And under section 326B IPC, such a person who threatens can be imprisoned up to 7 years and is liable to fine. You or somebody is attacked, they must make sure to get treatment as soon as possible and talk to your trusted adult and make sure you stay away from the perpetrator of the crime. You must report the attack to the authorities. It can lead to imprisonment up to 10 years or for life, and the medical expenses of the victim will be borne by the perpetrator of the crime. What is honor killing? You must have seen in movies when a girl or a boy crosses the age of 18, they are adults, they have a right to make decisions about their life, like who they want to live with, whom they want to marry. But in some families, when a girl takes a decision like this, they think this guy is not an outsider, not a member of our clan. This is a shame on our family. And to protect the reputation of the family, they kill that girl and or boy. That's called honor killing. Femicide is a gender-based crime. When a society prefers males over females, it can be, like I told you before, feticide, where a fetus is aborted when is still in the mother's womb, or a newborn child is killed simply because it is a female. Sexual assault. This is an act where a man sexually touches a woman or forces her to get naked without her consent. This is punishable with up to 5 years of imprisonment under section 354 IPC. This can cause long-term mental trauma to the victim. Why don't they understand? It's just a simple act for them. They think they're enjoying it. The girl takes a lot of time to come out of that memory and come back to her normal life. If you see such an act taking place, do stop it or call help, even if it is your friend who is doing it. You remember the Nirbhaya episode of Delhi? That's when the Nirbhaya Act 2013 was brought in, and section 375 IPC was brought to protect women against any type of thing. 354A IPC section protects against sexual harassment and any unwanted physical contact. And the POCSO Act protects minors from sexual abuse. If you are a survivor of an attack like this, do not shame yourself. You are not to blame. It's not your mistake. Do not take a bath or wash yourself. Don't change your clothes. Your body and your clothes might have evidence which will incriminate the culprit, and make sure that he gets punishment. Just write down what happened, inform the police, and report in a timely manner. Like this happened, after this happened, after this happened. And don't be afraid to speak. You are not to blame, and if you do not report such an event, that person is bound to repeat the action. Today it's you, tomorrow it will be somebody else. Coming to psychological violence, in many families, even when the girl is earning, her finances are controlled by the males of the family. She has to take permission from them to buy anything, and some families, she's not even allowed to work. She's controlled by her in-laws, her husband. They withhold access to money and forbid her attendance at school or at employment. Emotional abuse is a type of psychological violence where the woman doesn't really realize that she is being treated badly, where a sense of self-worth is undermined by constantly criticizing her, not respecting her feelings, overreacting for small things, making her feel guilty for everything, threatening to hurt her or hurt themselves. Like nothing the woman says or does is good enough for the family. They blame the woman for everything which goes wrong in their life. They try to control the woman, telling her even how to dress, where to go, whom to meet, whom to talk to. Whenever she is close to somebody else, they feel jealous. The most common examples being ill-treating her in front of children, not allowing her to meet her parents or family. What can a woman do when she is facing such a situation? Just think over. The next speakers will be dealing about what you have to do in such situations. Bullying, or what you commonly call ragging at the colleges. This is continuous harassment, which can be physical or by verbal. Like if a boy asks a girl to come out and she says no, he feels embarrassed. His ego is hurt. He starts a rumor that girl is bad. He harasses her every day, calling her fat and ugly, and throws eggs at her house, pours water on her homework, and provokes even his friends into teasing her whenever they see her. If you have faced such a situation in your school, what you should do, whom you should contact, just think over it. Cyberbullying. Since the last 2 years, all of you have been having online classes, handling gadgets, and this same technology can be used to write, bully you or abuse you by aggressive or embarrassing messages or threatening you, creating embarrassing images or videos, creating fake accounts in your name, stealing your online identity, or sharing sexually explicit messages. It's unfortunate that females are twice more likely to be victims of cyberbullying. Cyberbullying can be of many types. It can be excluding you from a group which is formed online, or gossiping against you and damaging your reputation, impersonating you by creating a fake account in your name, constantly posting offensive, threatening messages, uh, talking to you nicely, getting out personal information from you, and then sharing it publicly to humiliate you, continuously following you online. All this comes under cyberbullying. What can you do if you're being cyberbullied, if you're being bullied online? Check that platform's anti-bullying policy. Get in contact with the customer service representatives. You can block or report, but before you do that, make sure you collect screenshots of the messages or whatever is being sent to you as an evidence. Approach the cyber investigation cell, and if unable to report them, you can even lodge an FIR or reach women-oriented shields. Stalking. When an individual follows a woman constantly, this can be physical or online. Cyber stalking, where they find out which school she is going to, or which workplace she is going to, which yoga classes or dance classes she is attending, and they constantly follow her, make her uncomfortable. This is punishable under Section 354D IPC for up to 3 years of imprisonment and fine. Voyeurism. This is watching or taking pictures of women without informing her and without taking her permission. Like you saw in the movie Drishyam, the boy took the girl's pictures without taking her permission and threatened that he'll make them public. This is punishable. If they repeat these actions, they can be imprisoned up to 7 years. Eve teasing, which is commonly shown in movies, unwanted remarks, sexual advances by a woman, a man to insult a woman in a public place. This is punishable if any man speaks in an obscene way, or if he repeats that act, he can get an imprisonment up to 3 years. When someone is threatening to cause grievous hurt or cause death or destroy your property, this is called criminal intimidation. and is punishable for imprisonment up to 2 years. We spoke about sexual harassment previously. This can be reported under Section 354A IPC. Any unwelcome sexual advances or requests for sexual favors, showing you pornography without consent, all these constitute sexual harassment. A combination of both these physical and psychological violence is unfortunately seen at homes as domestic violence. It need not be necessarily between a married couple. It can be from any member of the family, your in-laws, any pattern of behavior where they are trying to gain power over you or control you. The unfortunate thing is many victims of domestic violence do not realize that they are being abused, and they can't believe that a trusted partner can be so manipulative. Please understand, the letters LOVE are only there in the word violence, but where violence exists, there cannot be any love. Examples of these domestic violence is using economic abuse, as I said, trying to control financially, emotionally abusing her, isolating her, denying her what she wants, using the children as blackmail, using male privileges, and threatening them come under domestic violence. This is a vicious cycle. In the beginning, they'll be nice for some time, then slowly they'll start abusing, and she thinks, okay, this will get over, they'll change, this will not be forever, but it will go on, it will become aggressive. Then when she retaliates, they'll suddenly say, I'm sorry, this will not happen again, I'll try to change myself. It's a very short period of respite and the cycle starts again. Domestic Violence Act 2005 covers any form of physical, sexual, verbal, or economic abuse. It grants immediate protection and punishes the abuser with imprisonment up to 3 years. We must all come together to end violence against women. It will not happen overnight. We have to take one step at a time. A reminder again for your post-tested feedback, for your certificate from UNICEF and FOXY. Let us all tweet #Dheera together and complete the target of 1 lakh voices by adding our courageous voice saying no to violence against women. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. Hello, Dr. Divya.
Good afternoon, ma'am. That was very nice talk, ma'am.
Wonderful talk,
Iman,
madam.
the videos are not available of the students. How do we interact with the students or teachers?
Madam, they can see us, madam. They don't have a camera, so
Oh,
they can
anybody,
see us.
anyone wants to say something, any interaction? Indra Priyadarshini garu. See, Suresh garu or Indra Priyadarshini garu. Anything you want to say about this program? Shall we go ahead with the next one, Sriman?
Yes, madam. I'll talk to them and ask them
Yeah.
to respond on.
Divya garu, you are taking the next topic?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Go ahead, share your screen.
Ma'am, actually, I don't have slides. Can I have slides?
Don't have the PPT?
No, ma'am.
Shall I share it for you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, 1 second. One second.
Yeah.
I closed it because mine was completed. I'm trying to. Yours is management of what, Dr. Divya?
Yes, management, ma'am.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am, I'm able to see.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So I'll start. So in this session, I think all the students are able to hear my voice. Can I
Yeah,
get
you're audible, Dr. Divya.
Yeah, I'm audible. So in this session, we'll discuss about the management strategies when we find someone that they are undergoing violence in their premises. So in this, we'll discuss about the management strategies. Next slide, please. So this slide has a table of contents like introduction. In this session, I'll brief you all the methods. How can a victim tell her problem to the what you call your helpers, or how to document her problem or her pain, and the role of bystanders. Next slide. Yeah, the role of bystanders we'll discuss here. If at all you find some victim, what and all you are supposed to do to help the victim. So that part we'll discuss. And the last one is bridging gender divide. Next slide. So I once again would like to remind you that registration and pre-test, submitting post-test and feedback are very important to get the certificate after this session. Next slide. So these are the factors that contribute to violence against women. The main perspective of Dheera is that this gender bias and social discrimination are the root causes for violence against women. So our perspective is to give information and change the attitudes of men, and both men and women, from the root causes, from the roots, so that this violence against women can be avoided, or can be managed or reduced in intensity in the upcoming years. So the main root causes are drugs, troubled childhood, lack of compassion, alcoholism, superiority complex, stress, and anger issues. Superiority complex is that which a man or woman develops from since the childhood. So in every home, I think if there is a boy or a girl, so if both of them should be treated equally. Usually what they do is girl child is always asked to do the household works, and boy child is always asked to concentrate on his studies, because they think that boy child is always the successor, and girl child has to manage the households. So this kind of discrimination is being showed from the childhood in the house, in Indian families. So I think if this can be solved, or gender equality is maintained since the childhood, so these complexes can be managed. So next slide. So what is wow mindset? It has to be nurtured since childhood, based on the way a child is brought up. So always a child has to be brought up saying that they are equal to both boys and girls are equal in their standards. So that has to be nurtured since childhood. Next slide. So what to do if you know someone is being abused? So don't be afraid. Listen to the victim's story. Reassure them to stay brave. Believe their story. Don't blame the victim. Keep an eye on the situation to make sure it is not getting too dangerous. Ask about their immediate plans. Report to the higher authority. That could be a teacher, parent, or police. Respect their decision and have resources to keep conversation going on. Be careful that any action taken do not harm your victim. So all these are points which has to be noted by the victim and by the bystanders, so to assure safety. So what to do if you are being abused? Recognize the toxic behavior of the cycle of abuse. Protect yourself by leaving from the vicinity of the abuser. Avoid escalating situations. Report the incident immediately. Keep evidence of the abuse by recording or photographing if possible. Plan a safety kit in case you have to leave your home in a hurry. If at all you know that you're being abused, being abused at your workplace. So always have a safety kit within your bag or handbag, like a pepper spray or some kind of protection, or carrying a mobile phone with you when you go, whenever you go out, when you're going alone. So let someone you trust know of the abuse. So you have to discuss all your problems either with a single friend or a neighbor or your doctor or a police officer. Let them know and keep them informed. Next slide. And also, please speak out. Speak out is most important. Don't let the abuser rob you of your voice. Claiming your voice back is difficult. Yes, believe your words have power. So speaking up is the first step to end violence against women. And take a stand, because your abuser is afraid of your voice. So not speaking when you're being abused, keeping that to yourself and not speaking out is not a good job. So don't let them why I didn't report. Regret should not be there. Timely reporting is very important. You should not regret that why I didn't report it earlier. Don't let down another generation of victims. Give the victim a platform to speak. Believe the victim. Don't blame the victim. Stand up for justice. Don't let people forget that once someone commits abuse, they are prone to doing it again. So please try to follow all this. Next slide. Safety using technology. So I request all of you to have awareness about these apps. Download and familiarize yourself with safety apps. Smart Shahar Women Safety Shield Protection, Vitu app, Scream Alarm, Suspects Registry, Be Safe, and Abhaya for legal advice. Share your live location with those you trust. Take pictures of the taxi drivers or the license plates whenever you're going in a taxi at some odd time. In case of emergency, activate your location app and call some of your parents or friends and tell them that you're traveling with so and so person from a location, from where to where you're going to travel. So intimation using this technology is a very important thing for avoiding violence against women. So all of you should know this distress signal. This is a signal or a help sign. This can be done by open your palm and close your thumb finger and showing in this way. This shows that if at all your abuser is beside you and you're unable to ask for help, so that you can just show this help sign, so that bystanders could understand that you are in trouble and you're unable to ask for help. So all of you, please share this distress signal with all your friends, and awareness has to be there regarding this distress signal. Next. If you see the distress signal, if at all you come across some girl or a girl showing this signal, what you're supposed to do? If you see the signal, check in whether within the person safely to find out what they need and what you can do. If you find a threat of danger, don't immediately intervene trying to save the victim. You have to rule out if the victim is in danger. So then you can call local police and helplines mentioned later. So whom to contact is also important. I request all of you to find out your local city helpline numbers and share with your groups and schools. Like example, All India Women Helpline, Helpline. This is for women in distress. That is 1091. Women's Domestic Abuse Helpline. That is 181. National Commission for Women. These are the two numbers given. Likewise, this is for Delhi. They have given Delhi Commission for Women, Outer Delhi Helpline, and local bodies. Now, all our towns and cities have some NGOs or police station. So all the students, please make sure that you have your local police number written in your books or in your diaries. So helplines for specialized, these are the helplines for specialized cases. Gender-based violence, command crime, to report gender discrimination and abuses. Commission for Gender Equality, Domestic Violence Helpline, Child Helpline, and Crime Stop. This is for cases of rape and sexual assault or violence. Yes, next slide. Ma'am, next slide, please. Shailaja ma'am, next slide, please. I think ma'am is on the phone. So next is the reporting process. How to report it once you're out of your abuser's side. You came to a safe place. Now you have to think how to report the incident. Report the incident to the local police or special police unit. Record statement for police within 24 hours of the event. Go to the hospital or shelter home for medical examination by a female doctor. Record statement for magistrate, and special courts shall complete the process within 1 year duration. Next slide, ma'am. So girls are strong, so please let's keep them that way. We all need to support each other to make this possible, to avoid violence against women. So at the end of the session, I again would like to remind you that submitting post-test and feedback following this session is very important to get your certificates. Thank you so much. Next slide. So let us all be courageous together, say no to violence against women. Dheera, hashtag Dheera together. Let's tweet together, building a voice. Our target is to have 1 lakh plus tweets. So add your courageous voice to the conversation. Thank you so much. Ma'am, can we go to the next?
Ma'am, can you hear me? We are very much thankful for the Shailaja ma'am and you for taking up this session in a positive way. Thank you, ma'am.
Whose is the next topic?
Next is mine. I think Dr. Shailaja.
Yeah, madam. Fourth topic. Good afternoon, Jamuna madam.
Good afternoon, all of you. So nice to see you all.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, Pratibha.
Hello, madam. How are you?
Good, good.
Yeah.
Hoping to see you all in Indore.
Yes,
Yeah, madam.
Definitely. So, madam, can you see my slides?
Yes, madam. Make it slideshow.
Okay, it is not slideshow.
We can't see your screen, madam.
Now, can you see slideshow?
No, madam. We can see your slides, but make it full screen.
This is not full screen.
No, madam.
Now, can you see?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. And after such wonderful talk before, now I am here to talk on role of active bystander. And
good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon. I request you to mute everyone.
और आपको देखकर खुशी है आपको वापस
I request everyone to kindly mute yourself. Hello. So, before I start, I just want to remind you that you have already done your registration and you have taken up the pre-test. Now, don't forget to do your post-test and fill feedback form once you finish this session so that the certificate of participation can be awarded to you. Now, I'll be talking about the role of active bystander. Now, who are the bystanders? They are the individuals who observe an act of violence, discrimination, or other problematic behavior, but are not its direct perpetrator. In fact, they are the one who witness or who sees or knows about the incidents and can give you first-hand information. Now, bystander have two choices. Either they can be the part of the problem by staying silent, or they can be the part of the solution by helping out, being an active bystander. So active bystanders are those who take action and try to stop it by being present there or by speaking out or by their action. Whereas the passive bystander are those who do not act or intervene And maybe because of the social influence, or because they think that why we should get involved in such situation, it is not my problem, or somebody else should come and intervene, or because of some audience inhibition, or because of fear of retaliation, like they feel that if they'll indulge in that, somebody will harm them. So that way they don't interfere in that. But here I just want to tell you that if you are an active bystander, then you are helping the society. Now, these are the 5 weapons of active bystanders, and we take it as 5 Ds. And they are just the way you can become an active bystander. And these are the few ways you can understand that how can you be actively participating in such type of situations. First is distract. This is the very subtle way to intervene, and the aim is to interrupt and derail the incidents. Where the incident is happening, you just pretend to be lost, or you can ask the time or address of the place, or you just pretend to know the person who is being harassed. You just ask him, what is your name, how are you, why you are here. So like that you can start the conversation so that it can distract the attention of the harasser. Second way of dealing is by using the delaying tactics, which will reduce the severity. You can ask the victim if she's okay, offer to accompany her to her destination, or you can just sit with her for a while so that it can delay the incidents. Third way is by delegation, or it is the way where you can seek help from the third party. Like if the incident is happening somewhere near the shopkeeper or near the shop, then you can ask the shopkeeper to intervene in that. Or if it is happening in the bus, then you can ask the co-passengers or bus conductor to intervene. If such incidents has occurred in the school, then teachers or the principal can help in such situations. Fourth way of being an active bystander is by documenting the incident. But then here you have to be very, very careful, because first you have to assess the situation, and you should be very, very confident that the person who is being harassed somebody else is helping him. So if that is there, then you should intervene, then you should start documenting the incident. And before that, you must assess your safety also, because sometimes it can come back on you also. So once you are safe, then you go ahead and start recording. And after recording, it is very important that you must ask the person who was harassed that what to do with this recording, because that recording doesn't belong to you. So you should not make it public. It should never be posted online, because that is a wrong habit. Publicizing any other person's traumatic experience is no way to be an active bystander. So you should be very careful about that, because using an image and footage of a person being victimized without the person consent may make the person feel even more depressed. So such situations should not arise, and you should not do that. It should never be posted online, or it should not be made public, unless, although it is very good that you have documented, maybe that documentation can be used later on if any case has been assigned for that incident. So that will be can be used in that way. But it should be only done only after taking the consent of the person of whom it has been done. Now, the fifth way of being an active bystander is by direct involving in the incidents or confronting the harasser. But again, you have to be very, very careful here, and you should be very confident and clear and cautious that because it can be risky for you also, because the harasser can redirect their abuse towards you, and it can also escalate the situation. So while assessing the situation, then only you should directly indulge in that condition. So only when you are safe, then only you indulge in that. Otherwise, the golden rule is that you must call police or call child helpline number. Now, these are the numbers we have just seen before also. And these are the numbers which you should always remember. 100 number, I think everybody knows, but the child helpline number is 1098. That also you should keep in mind. And whenever required, it should be used. Now, there are other ways also to get involved. as a bioactive bystander, which includes you can organize actions like writing stories, posters, and nukkad natak. Or if you know some organization who is working for it, you can donate your time and ideas and can tell how you can be an active bystander. Then you can also appreciate someone who is practicing active bystander. So that way also you can promote that. And lastly, what I want to say that you should never be blaming a victim, because she should never be blamed. And that is always very, very wrong to say that why. I mean, it is all a retrospective thing. Once the incident has happened, then you start saying that why she had gone at night, why did she park her scooter at there, why did not take her sister or somebody with her, or why instead of calling police she called her sister, because you don't know what was the situation where she was having. So it is a retrospective things to say. So it should not be done. Never blame a victim. Always believe a victim. So with this, I come to the end of this session and of this talk. And again, I would like to request you that you have already done the registration and pre-test, and don't forget to do your post-test and feedback form so that you can get the certificate of participation. So let us all hashtag Dheera together. Let us tweet together, because we are building our voice and our target is 1 lakh plus tweet. So add your courageous voice to the conversation. Say no to violence against women. Thank you for patient hearing.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Pratibha ma'am, for your valuable session.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I think I have to take the next two sessions, right?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Sriman and this is Suresh Guduri. All the students are well versed with the English, or there are some who are understand Telugu or Hindi?
They asked us to speak in English, madam. I started in Telugu. They called up and said they want only English.
Fine, fine. Then it's all right. Okay. Now I would like to ask the students, can we have them on the board?
And none of their videos are available. They said videos are not connected.
Videos are not there.
Okay, okay, okay. Because otherwise we will not know, like, okay, then audio we could hear. Can Saujanya, can they tell us what is the child helpline number we want to hear?
Yeah, we can see the students.
Child helpline number. Can they tell what it is? Oh, yes. That's nice. Right. So something we have done today. Okay. Sriman, can you share the slides, please?
Yes, madam.
So good afternoon, boys and girls and teachers. Thank you for joining. And I think you are taking our mission by our own president, Shanta Kumari, to a higher level. And all children, you are the one who are going to move this forward. And we expect that you people have to make this project a successful one by being an active bystander and understanding all the violences which are happening against the woman and how to respect the woman and the girl. Yeah, Sriman, can you share the slides? Wonderful to see you all. Okay, so the most important is bridging the gender divide. This is what's happening even today. And I think most of you must have seen even in your homes or in a neighborhood and everywhere. Next slide, please. So how we can do this? So let's see. So again, we keep reminding you for the post-test and feedback so that you can get your certificate from Foxy and UNICEF. And your feedback is very valuable for us so that we can bring about some changes and some new ideas from you. And how much you have learned, that also gives us information. Next slide, please. So, you know, when you look at these names, Shiva, Harsha, Nayan, Kashish, Nihar, Nirmal. Sometimes you don't know whether it is a boy or a girl. Okay, Shiva, you know. Nayan, Nirmal. See, this can be a boy or a girl. So genders are nothing. They're just socially constructed concepts. So we have to change these which are constructed by society. Next slide, please. And how do these traits characterize males and females? Can you tell if it is active, whether it's a male, female, considerate, aggressive, creative? So, you know what they say, that a girl should be considerate and she should be creative and she should be emotional and she should be gentle and she should be dependent. You know, all these things, they consider that it is a female character. But do you all think that this is the right one? Please give your opinion about this. Next slide, please. So why we should condition that gender stereotyping? As we know that stereotypes are so much into the minds of people and in our culture, and they just become a habit. You know, they say that if a girl is very boyish, they say, no, you can't be. No, why? And if she's going for a game, like now, of course, a lot of games like cricket and everything, even girls are taking part. But earlier, I'm sure if they were playing cricket, they said, you know, it is for boys, not for girls. And in addition to that, these media, films, they all, you know, reward this violent behavior is a male behavior. No. And parents also, they also use physical punishment for the boys and not for the girls, because they think that physical punishment can be given to boys only. And apart from that, they always tolerate that violent behavior from a boy than a girl. If a girl becomes violent, then she says, you can't behave like a boy. And when a girl shows very aggressive and she wants to be a bossy girl, then they say that you can't be. So these are the stereotype, you know, gender divides which we see, and we have to see that all these should minimize or erase so that we can make a gender neutral society. Next slide, please. So is this gender bias which is there, is it a social evil? We see even today that women are oppressed officially and unofficially also. And this discrimination which is there when you are adults, it starts very young, because the parents, you know, they say that a girl should help in household chores and she should be very submissively behaving, not very rude or not very boyish. Then they emphasize even in workplace that they have to leave the work and early, or male babies are, even today, it's very sad, but it is there that male babies are preferred over female babies. And you have heard what they do. It is so inhuman. And apart from this, there is a lot of discrimination even at workplace. And if a pregnant woman is there working, then she just said that, okay, you take leave and then you can go back home. And even the wages, when compared to men, they are less. Though in some fields, the women are at par with men, but still we need a lot of change so that more women will come into these fields. So, and even today, no woman is safe from sexual harassments. You see that eve teasing, bullying, catcalling, stalking, these things do happen even today, which is very sad. And you know, when everything is going on well, the woman is called, you are a Devi, But this Devi, if she does a small mistake, she will be thought that she's not worth respect. Is this the way? So women don't want to be goddesses. They want to be treated just like any other human being. Next slide, please. So is it a level playing field? No, it's not. And surprisingly, even today, some countries still don't have women voting rights, and women don't have equal access to education. There are still child marriages, dowry system, and we hear so many cases even now. And women are not given opportunities at political levels and other high levels. And they always say that one man's voice is worth than many, many women. Women have less access to the financial requirements, and there is not much representation from women in many fields, including politics and leaderships. Though now we see a lot of women with a lot of leadership skills, even in politics. So we have some change, but we want much more. Next slide, please. So all the genders, we have to work together as a team. So we have to create a gender neutral, gender responsive, and equal society. And for this, we have to eliminate gender inequality and gender bias. No pink for female and no blue for male. So gender-based prejudice is not an issue of one gender. It is for both. Next slide, please. So boys, it's not enough to commend violence, but you must be willing to take active steps so that you can ensure that no other men commit such violences. And you have to take a step forward for this. Next slide, please. So how do we do? So we have some tips. So you have to be at home, you have to share the care. So women, as you know, take 3 times more unpaid care and domestic work than men. Women spend energy and emotional time at home with family instead of advancing care, looking after themselves. Appreciate those who help you unconditionally. Respect their sacrifices which are made for you. Offer help whenever you can, and encourage women to take up their own interest. This is how you can share the care with the woman. Next slide, please. So boys will be boys. No, boys will be held accountable. So hold yourself accountable. If you have done a disrespect to a woman, hold yourself accountable. No, I'm not going to do this again. So respect men and women equally. Be aware of your own behavior. If you have done a mistake, correct yourself and say that, no, next time I'm not going to do this way. Make sure you're open to criticism. If somebody has said that you have behaved with that girl, if you have said something, oh, you look so untidy to a classmate of yours, and if your friend says, no, that is not the way to tell. So you have to open to criticism, and you have to change yourself when you see that it is happening. Next slide, please. So change is also notion of traditional masculinity. You think that men, they don't cry. If you cry, you are like a girly or a sissy. You should be always strong, even if you are emotionally upset. So these are the example, traditionally, what masculinity means. No, treat everyone the same way, regardless of the gender. Allow yourself the freedom to break norms and stereotypes, gender stereotypes. Question those that do not allow you to challenge gender stereotypes. They say that if you're helping somebody, okay, this is not the way you should comment a girl. And if they say, No, this is, the boys are boys, they have to do this way. But question them. Don't leave them just like that. And never excuse a person just because they are men. So make the sensible male fashionable, not an alpha male. Next slide, please. So sensitive men will change the next generation, because there are men who have emotions. They do break down. They do have anxiety. They do have emotions. They feel insecure. And we have seen there are boys and men who get abused and they have mental illnesses. So let's support men. Let's encourage men. Don't belittle or silence men. Men struggle too. This is a truth. Next slide, please. So the fourth one is you have to respect others' choices. When someone makes you uncomfortable, ask yourself. And if you are not comfortable, you say that, no, I'm not. And if that person has said that I'm not comfortable, you respect and just leave that place. Examine your biases. Consider the circumstances that make your life different from your. Do not judge, shame them to follow for the choices. No, if they have their choice, respect their choice. But if it is not, if it is hurting somebody or abusing somebody or commending somebody, of course, then you have to correct them. Next slide, please. So what is this consent? We have to understand this. You should not take people for granted. Oh, she smiled at me. Then I feel that, yes, she likes me. No, that's not correct. Consent means always, they have to say yes. If you ask a girl to be your friend, and if she says, yes, I would like to be your friend, then only it is yes. But just she says, just smiles and goes away, then you can't take it as she has said yes. No. She was asking for it. Why could you? Boys is never accepted. Never victim the blame. So what is consent? It's a very nice phrase. When somebody has given freely and it is reversible, anytime they can say, no, I don't want now. And they should know what for they are saying yes. And they should tell happily, and they should tell for the specific reason. They should know the reason for what they are saying yes. Next slide, please. So you call out sexism and harassment. All women experience sexual harassment at least once in their lifetimes. It's so sad. And all women experience sexism once a week. Call out such behavior in a safe and respectful manner. You have to be an active bystander. Do not excuse your friends, relatives, or co-workers if they are doing any act of such kind. Sexism, if you see it, name it, stop it. Now you have learned what are the various types of harassments and what are the various, how they do. All those things have been shared with you all. So whenever you see it, stop it. Next slide, please. So challenge, you have to take a challenge for this gender stereotyping. Question your own gender stereotyping. Challenge any stereotypical notions of gender, like women are not good at driving. Counter the argument. See, for driving, there is no need of any gender. It is only a skill. So you can't say that they can't drive well. Now we see a lot of women being as in the army, air force, or pilots. We see in space. So it is only a skill. So counter the argument with courage. Next slide, please. Yeah, and this gender divide has to be broken. And always, please, if anybody has come to you, the person who's a survivor, respect them always. And every time a woman speaks up about experiences and she's not believed, then the toxic culture flourishes. When you hear a survivor story, please listen, believe, and support. And always be a friend and offer unconditional support. This is very, very important. Next slide, please. Because most of the time, youngsters go to their friends only when they have such issues, because they are scared to, share with the parents. So friends have to be, you have to learn how you can support and help and minimize this harassment. And imagine this Google also, if you search what women should do, see, they stay at home, not work, they should be seen, not heard. It's so sad. How can you change this narrative? Yes, we can. We all can make a gender neutral society. Next slide, please. So we can do anything and we can do multitasking. Next slide. Next slide. Yes. So again, we keep reminding you for this post-test and feedback. Please do it. Next slide. Next presentation. So please, I think all of you, most of you have the phones. You have to do this hashtag Dheera together. Please tweet so that we'll have more than 1 lakh. So we can make a courageous voice for this conversation, saying no to violence. And this can happen only if you can add your tweets to this. Next presentation. Yes. So now, most importantly, all of you go through this peer pressure. So we'll learn how we can decode this peer pressure. Next slide. So now main highlights in this is like you have to identify what is this toxic environment, then what is good versus bad touch, and what is the concept of consent. And lastly, the power of no, which is very, very important. Next slide, please. So let's see. And then you have to go for post-test and feedback. Next. So what is peer pressure? As you all know, you get influenced with your own peers. That means your friends and your classmates. So now, and it is just on each other. So you can conform to the behavior and personal habits of a group. So if a group has some sort of behavior, then you conform to that. And most of the time, this peer pressure is so subtle, you will not even know that it is changing you and you cannot identify, but it will have enormous effects and it will be there for lifelong. That is why it is important to learn about this peer pressure. Next slide, please. So what are the types of peer pressures? One is spoken. Openly, sometimes, they say that, hey, come on, you're not coming to, we are going out, we are bunking the class. Directly they will ask you. Then unspoken. When they just 2-3 of them keep talking about, or they say that, okay, they keep drinking, this unspoken one, and you are exposed to that. Then you think that in my group that is happening, so you also have to do. Then directly, somebody is smoking, then they just, without asking you, they just pass on that butt of cigarette. Then you say that, oh, it's okay, because they are smoking, even I have to do it. Then indirect, sometimes they keep talking. That boy is, he doesn't maintain his hairstyle, or his hairstyle is not so good, or he's so sissy. Such things, when they gossip and you overhear them, then you think that if you do, you'll also will be talked about it like that. So this is an indirect. And negative pressure, we all know that it's a bad behavior which is against moral. Like, just because your friends, one of the boys comes with a fight, then you just slap or hit him. So that is a direct negative pressure. Then of course, positive pressure also happens, because when a person is weak in his studies and the other person who is good at his studies will help the person who's weak, and then they try to see that he can improve his marks in the tests or assignments and so on. So such things, these are the various ways of peer pressure which happens and which has an influence in your life. So what is the sign of toxic environment? Your friends, they make you feel bad about something about your dress, or you don't have a Levi's jean, you're not wearing that, or your friendship should not be on their terms. This you have to remember. You are an individual, you are a unique person. You have to have your own thoughts. And if they said that if you follow certain things, you are going to be in our group, in my group or our group, and you are never sure where you stand. If you join the group, then you don't know whether you are, in the first 1 to 3, if they put like that, you don't know where you are. Then gossip is a constant about friends. And this is the one which we have said that, which has an enormous effect on the peers. And it is always, the effort is always from one-sided. It is never like, okay, he has learned that, let us make a, the other person also makes an effort to do something. It's not like that. The group says this, you do it, yeah, you do it. Otherwise, no. And they don't respect your boundaries. Suppose you don't want to go to a late night party. They don't respect it. Then they say that you are not in our group. That's it. You feel pressure to do things you don't like to. There is a competition to be popular. And this is very common in the schools. See, healthy competition is always welcome, but it should not be unhealthy. You are terrified one mistake would your friends leave you. You are so terrified. If I don't listen to them, or if I don't go with them, they will leave me. They encourage your worst traits. If you are, stalking a girl, then they say, oh, this is good. Come on, you can do that. So such encouragements will be there. These are the signs of toxic environment. And one should identify these toxic environment signs. Next slide, please. So how to avoid these uncomfortable situations? Never go out with strangers. This is very important. And always make sure that you tell your parents or your siblings that where you are going, and take a phone with you. And always if you are called your friend for a coffee or a tea, and if the friend said, no, I can't come, I have work. So respect. And then you say that, okay, it's all right, we'll go next time. Then draw boundaries for yourself also. If you think that I don't want to go to late night parties, you just tell your friends, no, I don't want to come. And always confidently say no to anything which makes you uncomfortable. Then dial police number 100 or 1098 whenever you feel there is a danger. Please remember these numbers and put it in your, you must have taken as a screenshot, and keep it in your phones, always ready. Next slide, please. So now we have to learn how to clean this toxicity. So we have various, traits where the boys to be avoided or girls to be avoided. So the boys who are against feminism, boys who are rude to their mothers, and the boys who don't respect others' physical boundaries, and who pressurize to send nudes, And boys who start fights for small things or whatever. Boys who use slurs like, and boys who comment on girls' appearance without asking her opinion. And those boys who make rape jokes. These are the traits you should avoid. And at the same time, girls who think it's unmanly to cry, and girls who hit or slap their boyfriends, girls who are totally materialistic. You give gifts, then only I'll be your friend. Girls who call other girls bitches, girls who don't respect your physical boundaries, then girls who call you a girl thinking it's an insult, girls who don't think men can be victims of abuse and rape. So these are the traits where girls should be avoided. Next slide, please. So what are your boundaries? How do you know? If we have called up and the opposite person says, I end this phone call if you continue to shout at me. That is the boundary you're drawing. That's how you can do. Then you can say, I can stay for half an hour. That's all. Thank you for your offer. Unfortunately, I can't make it. I'm not comfortable discussing that, whatever you are discussing. So please do not discuss it with me. Or you can say, I need time to think about it. I'll come back to you. I don't respond to work emails at the weekend. I'm not comfortable with that. If you do it again, I will have to leave. I respect your opinion, but this is my life and my decision. So put yourself always first. Set boundaries where you are comfortable. Next slide, please. So you all know what is a good touch and bad touch. I think in your schools, a lot of sessions must have been taken in. So good touch is only handshake and namaste. Rest of it is bad touch. Next slide, please. So how the concept of consent, what do you mean by that? Consent is permission for doing anything. You have to ask for consent. You should never assume consent and always respect consent. If there is no, you respect this. Never pressurize, give consent. So what no means, what way it is no. When somebody has said stop, it means no. If somebody has just turned away, that means no. And if they have said that I don't want, and if they have showing you away, or they said it, leave me alone, or they said passed out, or if they say that I'm not ready, or if they push you away, and then somebody says I don't feel like it, drunk or drugged, that is not correct. Or if the person has said get away from me, or if this person is screaming and the person has said don't, or crying, all these means say no. Only if the person knows what it is, whether she understood or not, or he understood or not, and says yes, then it is yes. You never force anybody to say no. Next slide, please. So always what I would request all of you is to stand up to peer pressure and just say no. And if somebody is pressurizing you a lot and you are unable to say no to that person, then you can leave the scene and say that, oh, I'll see you later, I have some urgent work. Or you have to make an excuse, I have to go home. If I don't go home, my parents are unhappy. So, or you can just, make a joke saying that if I don't go, I have to be forced to eat a broccoli or bacon. And change the subject. Like, I forgot something, I have to do this. Or suggest, let's go check out. And remember to always listen. If your gut says that not good. Next slide, please. Yes. So, never too young. Any small boy also should learn to respect future for our future generations. So let's make all the dreams of the girl, women come true, and let's help her. Next slide. So Malala Yousafzai, she has said so well that I want every girl to know that her voice can change the world. It's so nice that her voice can change, and she has done it. You all have heard and seen how much she struggled. Next slide. So post-test and feedback is important. Next slide. So we have to thank all this team, the whole team, for their contribution and time, because all these slides were made for almost working for 6 months. Next slide. And these artists and credits we have taken, we have to thank them. Next slide. So you all have to tweet together, hashtag Dheera together, so that we can add your courageous voice to say no to violence against women. Thank you. Next slide. Yeah. Yeah, any questions they have? Raju Garu? Saujanya?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, now you are audible and visible also.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. This is Indira Priyadarshini. Thank you for giving us about the consent of taking consent from the girl child before putting up the views.
Correct. And sorry to interrupt you. I want one of the boys, what they want to change, if they want to change after this presentation. I want one of them to talk about it, if you don't mind.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, they are ready for expressing the.
Shailaja, picture this one.
I would like to thank all of for really acknowledging all the telecommunication students about violence against women, and because all the boys of telecommunication they are promising that we will take.
They're saying something, madam. We can't hear.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Fully on violence against women. On this presentation, Foxy members really acknowledge us about what are exactly the laws we like we see a girl getting violence or someone, how to save her. And I would like to thank Shailaja and Alluri members for raising us about the sexual harassment. And then there are few laws you shared here with us, like 354A about sexual assault and 362A about cyberbullying. Thank you.
I want to know, if you have to bring about a change in yourself, what is that one thing you want to bring about?
I would respect women, and if I see anyone bullying women, I would like them to stop.
I think you need a clap, applause from all the other students. Wonderful, wonderful. And can any one girl can talk about what she has understood?
Afternoon, ma'am. Firstly, I would like to thank Professor Shanta Kumar ma'am for giving this initiative and helping women, girls, and men worldwide and knowing about violence and that is happening across the world. I would like to thank Shailja Naluri ma'am for teaching us about sexual harassment. Thank you, Dheera ma'am, for helping us know the laws and express trouble. I would also like to thank Pratibha ma'am for telling us to be an active bystander. And Jamuna Devi ma'am for knowing us, for helping us know more about stereotyping and gender. And this initiative, this opportunity has helped many girls in knowing more about what's going on across society and how we have to be supportive to each other and protect each other. That we have to all stand together no matter what and raise our voice against violence. And if we don't feel comfortable, then we have to say no and thank you for making us know about the helpline numbers. And at last, I would like to thank all the Foxy members for making this initiative and helping us bring a broader social outlook.
Yeah. Can all of you show the distress signal once? Yes. I want everyone. Yeah. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much. Very good, very good. I didn't get your name, Ma.
Rohini, ma'am. It's Rohini.
Yes. Rohini, what exactly, I mean, most impressive thing you have learned today from these topics?
That girls can come out and speak for themselves and there will be many people in the world helping them and that they don't need to be scared.
Yeah, wonderful. I think very good. Thank you so much. I think we are so contented with the top seminar, I mean sessions today that our children have learned so many things.
Ma'am, one of my students has want to speak.
Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Ram Singh. It's very useful for us presentation. I would like to make a few suggestions actually.
Yeah, tell me.
People who are educating right now studying in English medium schools and studying about the social and Western culture. So I don't think that spending this much of time on asking for this more useful. You should actually starting from the. I think your organization already does this. I hope so because you need to be starting from the most uneducated masses of the world. So you should start from the slums and the people of the government schools because they don't have the technology. They get a screen and all. They don't have this. I tell them all this so that.
You're muted, madam.
Yeah, I know it is not clear. Saujanya.
Not clear. It's not audible.
Because we need to know the laws and all that.
Yeah. Can you tell us Priyadarshiniya? Hello? Thank you so much. But I could not, it was not very clear. Can the teacher, sum up what he wanted to? Because it's really interesting.
Excuse me, ma'am. Actually, the boy want to share you with that. If it is done from the schools which don't have actually these facilities, if it is done in physical way, it would be better.
Oh,
so that he has suggested.
We are doing hybrid programs.
No, actually, because of the pandemic, And because of the COVID, we started this online sessions, but probably in future we will be doing physically, though we have started hybrid now because the schools have reopened recently. Children are coming physically to the school because otherwise 4-5 months back, the physical schools were not there. They were online only. And we are hoping to do physically. And in fact, we are doing in the government schools also. We are imparting the same knowledge to them also. And we are trying to do in their local language if they are not able to understand in English. That effort we are making it. But I really thank you so much for the suggestion you have given. And I really appreciate. Anybody would like to say something? Because we have few more minutes.
Girls, is there anyone to share the view? Yes, Shirley.
Or any faculty want to say, any teacher also want? Yeah, please tell me.
Thank you, ma'am, for all that you did right now. It was really enlightening for us to hear this positive outlook towards everything which is being done by your organization. Like everyone of us tries to empower each other on daily life things which happen, like all these little inconveniences which we face. They should not be forgotten. They should be like no, they should be justified for. So I think your organization is doing a great job, and I think that you should continue go to better heights and better levels in the future. All the best for you and the organization. Thank you, ma'am.
What she has said, can you tell? Because voice was breaking. Can you tell, ma?
Thanks for giving all this valuable views and which were encouraging and enlightening them to express their sufferings. Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, thank you so much. So well said. This shows that they have. And now this.
Is there any faculty?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the post-test link has been posted in the chat box.
Yeah, you want to say something?
Good afternoon, madam. Really, it's a wonderful program. And we congratulate everyone because of your commitment and the work. Your ideology is giving to the others and motivating their children and educators and all is really good. But when we all be like giving the respect to the everyone, then this is a very successful program. Thank you, Varga, and
So thank you so much.
Yes.
I think you all people have made so much of effort. I think teachers, we really thank you. So, I mean, and for the time you have taken out for this program.
Ma'am, on behalf of the DBS Warangal, I would like to thank all the trainers who has trained they're making us to be a mix of boys and girls, to make more in a disciplined manner and make what are the responsibilities. Here, all moms, they have made us to be thorough with that, the view that the change in the society can be brought only from each and every individual. So a change which should be like a high, which is a high peak mountain. It could be achieved from each and every step. So ma'am was saying that the students from this age, if you are making or inculcating good manners in you and respecting all the women in the society, whether it is your mother, whether it is your grandmother, whether it is your teachers or your friends, making them or you people just making a consent how they are suffering and making your voice raised against this such a type of sufferings. So I thank everyone making this program very successful now, and I thank all and all for giving us such a good valuable things for making our children as good citizens of India. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all the MOGFI and initiating this program. We are very thankful from our DPS Varangal and all the students. Actually, tomorrow is a Women's Day. So everyone will wish Women's Day, Happy Women's Day, Happy Women's Day. So this wishing is not necessary, the change should be brought. So for giving this change, you have organizing these all the sessions and you are initiating these all things that when most of them being the children's state, in the child state where they need to have to bring change on in them. So the good motive in this program is very appreciating, ma'am, and we are all very grateful for being a part of this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I have studied in Varangal. So thank you. Love you all, children. Right. Okay, then we'll call it a day. Sriman?
Yes, madam.
Cheppese.
Okay, ma'am. We are closing the program. So I shared the posters and feedback link in the group chat box. Kindly click on the link and you'll directly go to the posters and that feedback form. You just fill and submit us and we'll issue the certificates. Madam, can I end the program?
Yeah. I think it's done.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, madam.
Yeah.